Good morning and welcome to my morning space. This morning I wanted to talk about the book that I've been reading this month called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I hope you like self-help books because this one is definitely one of the good ones and it's also extremely popular. Now let's break down what I got from this and how we can implement this in our morning routines. But stay tuned. For later, I will introduce the book I'm going to be reading for the next month so you can follow along or join in or just tune in for the next one. So the backstory of Hal Elrod actually really hit home for me as I was reading it. He gets into a really bad car accident and winds up being paralyzed, or they thought he was going to be paralyzed, and he also lost his short-term memory. Both of those things have actually happened to my mother in the last 2 years. She got into a really bad car accident and is now paralyzed, and she also has an extremely bad short-term memory, and so the fact that he was able to turn his life around from that is actually really hopeful for possibly the future of my own mother. So that really hit some very deep emotions in the first couple of pages. One of the interesting things he says is that we must understand and acknowledge the reality that 95% of our society will never create and live the life that they really want. That's a large percentage, and we want to be part of that 5% that can rise above it. So definitely trying to figure out the best way to do that. He uses a formula to create a miracle morning. And his formula is essentially the acronym SAVERS. S-A-V-E-R-S. S stands for silence or meditation or just sitting in your own silence. A stands for affirmations. V stands for visualizations or visualizing the future that you want. E is exercise or movement. R is for reading, and S is for scribing or his version of journaling. It seems like a lot of things to do in a morning, but if you break it down into the amount of time each one of those takes, it's actually not that bad. And I think if you do it correctly, you can even adapt it and maybe have those times fluctuate based off of how much time you have each morning. He even goes into an entire chapter on how to create a 6-minute version. I think the big thing for me is probably the order of events. I wonder if changing things around, not necessarily going by the exact savers method in that exact timeline, if that would improve the overall quality of your morning based off of what wakes you up better in the morning. And he does say that you can move them around and not have to do them all in that particular order. So like I've said before, I think that maybe putting exercise at the beginning would be easier to wake you up, and then maybe do some meditation when your brain has full on gotten past that subconscious mode. I also wonder if a couple of these things might not be multitaskable in a way. Basically, affirmations and visualizations can sometimes go hand in hand. Like my affirmations sometimes lead into a visualization of how I want to be or act or feel and might not actually be real at the time, and therefore is a form of visualization of what my future life should be. Either way, I think it's a great baseline to start creating a miracle morning routine. And I think you can add and subtract things based off of what your needs are for your particular morning. So my particular mornings can include things like work, because I can't do them during the day when my kids are awake. Anyway, I think it's a very interesting read, and I hope you actually pick it up and read it. Should we give this a go? Leave me a message below if you think that I should give it a go and try doing the Savers method for the next week or so. Really analyze how this method works or doesn't work for us. Now for the next book that I'm going to read, I'm going to pick up for the next month, You Are a Badass. So if you want to follow along or join me, this is the book I'll be reading for this month. And or you could just wait around until I review it, because I'm wanting to really dive into my self-esteem issues and just kind of get into the inner nitty-gritty. So that's what I plan for the next month. Follow along if you want to be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep trying to get our mornings to work for us.